The Mamba mentality simply means trying to be the best version of yourself. You know, what I try to do is just try to be still and understand that things come and go, emotions come and go. The important thing is to accept them all, to embrace them all, and then you can choose to do with them what you want versus being controlled by emotion. You know, a lot of times I've seen players, even myself, you know, when I was younger, being consumed by a particular fear, and to the point where you're saying, okay, nah, it's not good to feel fear. I shouldn't be nervous in this situation, like, nah. And it does nothing but grow versus stepping back and saying, yeah, I am nervous about the situation. Yeah, I am fearful about the situation. Well, what am I afraid of? And then you kind of unpack it. And then it gives you the ability to look at it for really what it is, which is nothing more than your imagination running its course, you know?
Mental toughness really is, it's all about not getting too high or getting too low, but just kind of staying pretty even keel. I mean, that's kind of the trick to it, is not to get too emotionally attached to the situation. I mean, it's one thing to be excited, but there's certain emotions you gotta watch out for, like overlooking plays or getting frustrated because you missed a shot or had a bad turnover, and kind of letting that kind of linger. Now I think it's a point where I can identify it pretty quickly. So if something's frustrating me, I can always not react to it. I can always get right back to the pocket that I need to be in pretty quickly.
The reason why I say that is because we know it's a big game. So a lot of times what happens with your ball club is you get a little too animated. There you go. You get a little too hyped up. And as a result, you start blowing defense assignments, offense assignments. You just become too into the game. And so normally what happens is a couple minutes go by and all of a sudden your emotions settle and now you're ready to play the game the right way. Now, I think it's important for athletes to own what it is that they're going through. It's awareness, right? I think a lot of times we try to tell children, tell young athletes in particular, that if you have those thoughts and those feelings, that's weakness, that's bad, you shouldn't be feeling that, which then causes them to feel some type of way about themselves, right? They carry that around with them for the rest of their lives. And I think the most important thing is for us to be aware of what's going on in here. Not that it's bad, good, or indifferent, but it's awareness. And once you're aware of it, then you can choose to walk hand in hand with it, or you can choose to fight it, but you're making that decision. If you just can constantly bury that in the distance, then it starts festering and it comes up in different ways and manifests itself in different ways.
That's the game. That's the trick of the game, man. Is like, can you, again, detach yourself from it? Can you remove your emotions from the situation? Emotions get in the way a lot, especially in competitive situations.
What's up, guys? Hope you're all doing well. Hope you're all safe. So today we are talking about Mamba Law number 3. Before I begin, I do want to say a couple things. Number 1 is shout out to my boy Matt for the shirt. Much love, Matt. Number 2 is these videos are going to come out once a month. I've come to the conclusion that I want to give you more. I want to dive deeper into, oh, my book just fell, into different books. So I do want to give you more. So these videos are going to come out once a month. I do plan to do other things. I'm going to go into gaming, right? I'm going to go into all different sorts of videos like I keep saying and like I'm doing. So, and number 3 is, if you're not subscribed, please click the subscribe button. Much love. Let's begin. So, the law of extremes, right? As emotions increase, consistency decreases. Kobe first goes on to say, you need to be still. And you need to understand things come and go, right? And with that statement alone, I do believe you could go deeper than that. Things come and go. People come and go. Situations come and go. Life comes and goes. In 100 years, in 200 years, in 300 years, we're going to be gone, our kids are going to be gone, our kids' kids are going to be gone. Like, it's just that. Things come and go. But in this situation, we're speaking about emotions, right? So, in certain situations, you're going to be happy, sad, mad, nervous, all these different emotions. They're going to hit you at once, and they're going to go, right? But sometimes they don't. Sometimes they stay here. And you need to choose what you got to do with it. Like he says, it's either you choose what to do with it or you be controlled by it. Because what I've noticed is, let's go into human relations, right? When it comes to being in a relationship with a girlfriend or boyfriend, right? You guys fight. Everybody's going to fight, right? There's always going to be some sort of an argument. Yes, this person may be perfect, but I promise you there's going to be at least one fight every 2, 3, 5 months if this person's perfect, but there's always going to be something there, right? Nothing's 100% perfect. What happens? Let's say you said something stupid, or you did something stupid, or you were late and this person's upset now, blah, 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 and this person's barking at you like, oh, you said you were going to be here, you said you were going to bring the chicken, and all these different accusations. And your first reaction is, first of all, and you start getting pissed and you start going at it, right? That's not the right thing to do. You need to sit back and say, okay, this is making me upset, but I understand why this person's upset. So let them finish. When this person's finished, I'm not going to give them the same energy. Because what ends up happening is, you're going to make it worse, right? And me personally, I feel like that's my own personal best trait. Most of the time when I get into arguments or fight, I let this person go off. And I'm like, all right, okay, so let's talk about it. And when you come in with that energy, if you let your anger go and you come in with more logic and a more calm feeling, every problem you ever have, I promise you, will be solved so much better. Because you let the emotions hit you and you let it go. Like, I recently had a problem, not going to go into detail, but there was this time a person said something kind of rude and I was upset. But it was like 9 o'clock at night. I wanted to respond how I wanted to respond when I'm upset. And what ended up happening was, I said, let me go to sleep on this. Because if I respond now, this is going to end up really bad. Not just for me, but for this person and the 10,000 other people involved. And I said, let me go to sleep on this. I went to sleep, and I woke up. I was still upset. And in those situations where you go to sleep on it, or you try to let it flow through you, if you're still feeling the same way, yes, you act on it. But most of the time, and I could say 90%, maybe 95%, when you go to sleep on it, when you wake up the next morning, you're good. You're not upset. You are calm. You said, okay, hey, look, let's talk about this, that. You need to let it go through you, right? We all have emotions, and that's okay. That is 100% okay. Let's go into sports or our career paths, because a lot of us are getting too old to play like professional or like little league stuff. So let's first go into jobs. The people that you need to look up to when it comes to this, right? Nurses, EMT, doctors, surgeons. These guys are professional at staying in the zone, at letting their emotions just flow through them and stay consistent. Because what happens? Every new day that comes along their path, there's a new situation, right? When it comes to being a doctor or a cop or a firefighter, there's something new that's happening that's going to spike up your emotions. But what do? They go, oh, this just happened. This is on my plate today. Let me just focus on fixing the problem. And when I get out of here, I let the emotions hit me. If I'm mad, if I'm sad, I take it outside. I do what I need to do, and that's it. Those people are the professionals at keeping themselves calm and in the zone and staying consistent. You need to look at them. because they go through some crazy stuff. They will tell you some crazy stories. I got a friend who did EMT for only a year and he quit because he said, yo, I just can't take it. The shit that I've seen that I had to just keep myself zoned in for while I wanted to cry my eyes out just looking at it, that was too much. These people are professionals at staying in the zone when you need it the most. So, but let's look outside of that, right? Because not everybody's a nurse or an EMT. We all get nervous. We all feel upset, right? Like, even if it's little things. Like, I remember during my internship at Chase, my manager goes and says, oh, so they're probably not teaching you much over there, because I didn't know how to do a certain thing. It was just one thing. I did everything else perfectly except for this, and that hit me like a truck, and I messed up everything else that whole day because I was just like, oh my god, what if this happens? What if that happens? Oh my god. I let it stay here. I let that nervous feeling stay here. You gotta let it go. If you're doing sales, if you're a social worker, if you're this, if you're into business, people are going to say things, people are going to do things that are stupid, that are going to get you upset, sad, nervous. I understand you want to feel this way, but there's a job that needs to be done. And if you let it hit you, you're going to continue to mess up. But, and this is a big but, because in some situations, right, you may feel upset and that might actually make you do better. Like, for me, in sports, if I'm upset, I'm doing a lot better. Instead of being calm, now I'm just like, okay, now I'm going to show you why I am the greatest of all time. Like, I remember as a kid when, like, we were all learning how to pitch and do stuff like that. When I was upset, when I was pitching, you could ask anybody. Nobody was touching what I was throwing. When I got hurt playing basketball, I'm dropping shots. Nobody's touching it. You could be 6'4", and I'm still shooting over you, making it. In some situations, it's good to feel that way. You need to learn how to deal and control your emotions. But that's some situations, and that's for some people, because some people say that, oh, I work better like this, and they end up messing everything up. You need to learn yourself, learn how to deal with your emotions, and keep going, right? Detach yourself from emotions. That works really good in relationships. I promise you, there's not one person who can tell me I'm bad at fixing problems, that I can't fix a problem. Every ex-girlfriend can never say I was bad when it comes to fighting and fixing things. I'm the king of it. Because you need to detach yourself from emotions. Now, let's go into books, right? I do want to look at some quotes. Let's first start off with the Mamba mentality itself, right? So, boom. I know I got like a card in here that's supposed to help me flip to the page. So, Kobe Bryant goes and says, my mental preparation varied based on my headspace. It varied based on where I thought my head needed to be for that specific game. If I needed to be keyed up, for example, I listened to hard music. If I needed to soothe myself, I might play the same soundtrack I listened to on the bus in high school to put me back in that place. It's all about putting me in the place I need to be for that game. Some games required more intensity, so I would need to get my character and mind in an animated zone. Other games, I needed to be calm. In that situation, I wouldn't listen to music. Sometimes I would sit in total silence. The key, though, is to be aware of how you're feeling and how you need to be feeling. It all starts with awareness. And that right there is perfect. Because here's the thing. You need to be aware of yourself. Like I just said, you need to figure out what works and what doesn't. When I'm happy is when I can do my YouTube videos. I don't care about the background sounds of the people doing construction or the birds flying around, because I'm happy and I want to do this no matter what. I want to bring this out. But if I'm upset, I'm going to be like, oh no, they're doing construction. I'm going to just forget about it and not do it. You need to figure out what works for you. And you need to work on it and get better at it. Because there's some people who are sad, who love to be sad, because guess what? That forces them to go to the gym. I know a lot of people who do that. And I'm like, I don't know how you do that. I'm either upset or I'm happy as hell and I'm going to the gym and I'm picking up some weights. So let's keep going, right? There's Relentless by Tim Grover, right? I got a couple quotes here. So the first quote that I want to look at, it goes and says, stress keeps you sharp. It challenges you in ways you never imagined and forces you to solve issues and manage situations that send weaker people running for cover. Like I said, you need to detach yourself, right? Because let's go back to the example. Cops, nurses, doctors, EMTs. Those situations keep them on their toes. That keeps their skills sharp. Because if those situations don't come along, guess what? They start to get comfortable, right? And then when the time comes, they're out of shape mentally or physically to get the job done. Stress is a good thing, but you also need to know how to do it. So that's the first quote, right? And then there's another one that I want to look at. And it's in a chapter called When Everyone is Hitting the Case of Emergency Button, They're All Looking at You. I feel like that right there is something we should all strive for. I know my personal friends that come to me for advice or when things hit the fan, because I've heard this narrative of, you know how to keep calm and stay like in the zone. You know how to use logic when shit hits the fan. So there's a quote here that goes and says, you can't control or anticipate every obstacle that might block your path. You can only control your response and your ability to navigate the unpredictable. That right there, wow, because it's true. Every day's a new day. Even if you work at McDonald's, even if your relationship seems that it's plateaued, every day's a new day. You can't control what happens, but you can control how you go about it, right? So do I have anything else for this book today? No. Let's go into another Kobe Bryant book, right? Wow, that was a huge truck that just went by. And it goes and says, victory happens in the mind. There's many different examples that tell us. It's all up here. I believe, like this quote just said, victory happens in the mind first. If you do not believe, if you cannot control, you will not win. Plain and simple. Plain and simple. Let's go into the 48 Laws of Power. I'm loving this book. Look at this. And this part, which is law number... Where'd it go? No, not here. Sorry about that, guys. Oh, right here, because I was looking at the wrong thingy. For this law, it's talking about... Hold up. Don't commit to anyone. This is law 20. And this goes more into relationships. And the quote that I want to look at is, to succeed in the game of power, you have to master your emotions. But even if you succeed in gaining such self-control, you can never control the temperamental dispositions of those around you. New day, new problems. And it's up to you to control your emotions and fix these problems that are in your path. Like the video says, right? As emotions increase, consistency decreases. You're going to feel a lot of different things. Take control of it and figure it out. That's it. So I hope you guys enjoyed. What do you guys think about this Mamba Law? And I'll see you next time. Peace.